we're blessed to have the urban conservatives of America to join us, and him too. Next week, Mattress Mack and I.
Look how you. No, and I'm black.
Let's wait for the presentation. I told you you gotta have a presentation after, man. Next week, Mattress Mack and I are going. Okay. Next week, we are going to amend our lawsuit to add additional claims against Harris County. If Lena Hidalgo and Rodney Ellis and Adrian Garcia give a damn about transparency and integrity, they will stop this nonsense now. Thank you. Any questions?
You know what? The Democrats was out here.
It'd be peace.
It's a spiritual thing. Yeah. Okay? It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing.
Now, you made it. You made it.
That's the problem. No, I'm just saying. We the problem.
Question.
Yeah. In the press release, you mentioned Hidalgo and Adrian Garcia saying that seeking transparency in elections is racist. Can you tell me about when they said that and what the context was?
Sure. Adrian Garcia talked about the efforts to replace an election administrator with election officials and said it was a new kind of poll tax. He said it. You need the actual video, I can get it for you. He said it. Okay? This is absurd. This is so insanely absurd. Besides the fact that the two elected officials are both black. And look, I'd like to live in a place where folks ain't black and white and green and blue and I ain't olive skin. Who gives a crap? Okay? Nobody cares. We just want transparency. Right. If the same exact thing had happened in the 5th Ward and the 3rd Ward in Montrose, right, the Justice Department would be down here.
That's right.
Right? Those ballot paper shortages. People can argue about whether it was a real Republican district or a sort of Republican district, but you can't argue with the locations. That's from the precinct judges. When you put those locations on a map, they're all on the west and northwest side, most of them, right? Those are more leaning Republican places. If they were everywhere in the county, then you'd say, okay, these are just dumb butts, right? You say this is just widespread incompetence. Why were there only ballot paper shortages in certain areas? Is it because they were on the west side? Is it because the person that delivered those, went to get a Whataburger instead? We don't know. What we do know is we have the...
Ballot shortages in East Harris County, there were ballot shortages.
Not near as many. No, but not near as many. And you know that. If you don't know that, I will send you the survey that should have been released the next week of all the precinct judges and alternate judges. This isn't Wayne, this isn't Mack, this isn't urban conservatives. This is the precinct judges who were Democrats, many of them. That's what they said, and I'm not sure why the Chronicle, to be honest with you, is not just saying, according to the folk who worked the poll, there were X that didn't vote on time, there were X that didn't open, there were X that ran out of paper. Look, I don't care if there were 115 Democratic polls, right? Maybe all those people were going to go vote for Lena Hidalgo. But the fact is, when 15% of your polls don't open on time, and there are 60-something that don't open past 7,
There's data that shows when voters are checked in, so we know when voters voted at each polling location to the minute, so you know whether or not a place is actually open. You don't have to rely on a judge telling you.
but so are you saying that the data proves that they were all open the whole time?
Not all of them.
Okay, well then why do we all agree, the Chronicle, Wayne, right, Matt, everybody, that in the 3rd largest county in the country, We should not have an election where 15% of the polls don't open on time, where you run out of paper, the easiest thing in the world. You got millions of sheets of paper. Why can't we all say that's the problem? And hiding what happened on that day is wrong.
Yes.
It's just plain wrong. Go ahead, guys. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Can you speak to what information you're still trying to get in the county specifically? Because I know they responded partially to your request. Can you just describe,
Well, if you call partially,
can you describe what
okay,
you're still trying to get?
if you call partially what they gave us, we're fighting over emails on that day involving Mr. Tatum. Want to know what Mr. Tatum knew and when he knew it, okay? When did he find out about stuff? You know, Mr. Tatum could be just the guy saying, I thought that was taken care of, okay? When we found out in the morning, some polls didn't have paper in the morning. How does that happen? Mr. Tatum, in my view, should have been fired the next day, right? Whether intentional or not, that was a cluster you-know-what, okay? Go ahead.
And, the Texas Rangers are investigating. They're, actively working on this exact question. Do you have confidence in, their investigation process?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Not really. Look, the Rangers were great in the 1800s. I'm not so thrilled anymore. I'm investigating Rangers in East Texas right now for ignoring jail abuse and protecting public officials. So it's kind of a sensitive subject with me. But I'm not saying, look, I don't think Mac or I or anyone says this is going to be proven criminal. This is games. This is closing Republican polls for the election day. Baker Ripley was closed for 4 hours. What a coincidence. There is virtually nobody that gets more money from this Lena Hidalgo's administration than Baker Ripley. Is it suspicious? Ask Mark Jones, Rice political science professor. He'll tell you what happened at that poll was suspicious. And look, when it's suspicious, maybe they can prove a crime, maybe they can't. I don't give a crap. What I care about is that everybody,
That's right.
black, green, blue, yellow, and I think that's what Mac's going to say, that everybody gets a right to vote, and we don't have to question this. We don't have to wonder why in this large bureaucracy that we ran out of paper anywhere. I'm not sure why you guys continue to say, well, yeah, but it really wasn't that bad. Okay, fine. But we ran out of paper in a lot of places. In the second election in a row, that was a cluster you-know-what, period. Mac, go ahead.
At the end of the day, we just want transparency. We don't want a dumpster fire election in Harris County every time the election comes around. So whether the votes are cast for Democrats, Independents, or Republicans, we need transparency from government. Government needs to remember they work for the citizens.
Yes, absolutely.
We don't work for the government. They work for us. They need to show us with their records. If their records are clean, so be it. 100% A+. If their records aren't clean, we need to do something about it.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I have a question for Matt.
Mac, go ahead. You have a question.
I have a question for you. The elections office is being abolished right now, and the responsibilities are going to the county clerk and the tax assessor collector, so they're going to be running elections now. And the election contest lawsuits that are going on, one of them is challenging the county clerk's race. Do you think they're going to be successful in getting that county clerk's race overturned? So do you think Stan Stannard is going to be the county clerk's race?
I can't comment on whether or not that race is going to be overturned. All I can comment on is the fact we're trying to get transparency in all the Harris County election process. That's why we're doing all this work and not giving up till the voters get what they need, which is the right answer of who was elected, who wasn't, and why the Harris County election was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, bottom line.
That's nice of you.
Yes, thank you. Yes. But as I said earlier, corruption is everywhere. But it's up to people that understand to stand up against corruption. And we're going to fight corruption at every turn. We know that it exists. We know that it exists. Okay? Join us. Follow us at info@ucaamerica.org.
Do you mind saying and spelling your name for the record?
Jonathan McCullough, JONATHAN MCCULLOUGH Senior. Now I'll introduce to you our Houston director, Melissa Wilson.
Oh, go, Melissa.
Melissa Wilson, Houston Area Director of Urban Conservatives. I can answer that question. I have zero confidence in Harris County elections. You understand? Zero. Zero meaning none. Okay, we need to get to a point where if they are so confident in their election process, open up the floodgates, allow this lawsuit to take precedence, allow us to see the documents. No, there should not be politicians, candidates, or anyone running with a criminal record. They have not proven to the public that they are responsible. Nobody should be on the ballot. In my opinion, do your research, people. Look at these people's backgrounds. Look at what they stand for. If they stealing from people, we got issues in Fort Bend County. We got issues in Harris County. Neighboring counties have these issues where we have elected officials with backgrounds that have not been honest to the public. Start looking this stuff up. Dig deeper with this stuff. You understand? And you are robbing these people from a free and fair election. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for that little baby back there.
That's right.
Okay? We're fighting for more than just ourselves. We're fighting for the future generations moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Numbers do you guys have in the Houston?
In the Houston area, we wish not to disclose that information. Thank you. Yes. We have a national following. Again, follow us at info@ucamerica.org. Thank you. Join us. We need all the help we can get. God bless.
Go ahead. Sure, but I want to tell you something first. I've been a journalist in this town for like 50 years.
Yep.
God help us. Back in the day, if we had an election and there was one or two polls that didn't open, every TV station in town would be there going, what the hell, right? What we had in November was a magnification of that kind of problem in dozens of places. Let's forget for a second whether it would have helped Republicans or Democrats.
Right.
We can't accept that kind of screwed up election, right? Because 30 years ago, trust me, if it was one poll, right, we'd all be there, right? All going, what the hell's going on? Now it's 60, 70, 80 polls. But go ahead and ask Matt the question.
One last question for Matt, which is, I know you launched a website in February to try to contact and get in contact with disenfranchised voters. Can you give us an update on that and how many people you've been able to verify so far?
Probably a couple hundred have sent stuff in.
And have you been able to verify their
We
story?
verified a lot of them, yeah.
Will we be hearing from them?
Very possibly. We're talking to them all the time.
All right,
Okay.
got it?
All right.
Guys, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Right.
What happened to the homeless guy? Now his moment.
Right. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, what day I leave? Just let me know what day I leave.
I just want to make sure. I was just making sure that he wasn't gonna put his hand. Because then I just told him. You already knew what I was gonna do. Yeah. Well, I was about to move the devil out of here. I was making the devil.
But also, it casted an aspersion on the reporting, on me, that was literally made up. It was made up. And there is a subset of this country where, despite the New York Times, the Washington Post, like literally fill in the blank, like liberal news legacy outlet that they all trust, they just reflexively think laptop from hell, fake, Russia, whatever. And so the effect of that can't be measured because like these people who are